Hello, welcome to Organic Acting, and this is the truth about the acting industry. Okay, I'm going to try and be as honest as I can, as open as I can. Obviously, this is my subjective opinion, but hopefully I'm going to give you some truths that some other people might not tell you or you might have not realized. And you need to know these things before you come into the acting industry. The first one is training. No one cares. What I mean is, when I came out of drama school, I thought that because I trained and because I had my equity card and spotlight and all this jazz, that I had a big acting badge on my coat and that, you know, I'm an actor now and everyone's gonna bow down before me. Doesn't work like that. Yes, it's important to be on a casting site like Spotlight in England to have your equity card, but I don't remember one audition where a casting director or a director asked me if I'd been to drama school or looked at my CV and went, "Oh, you went to East 15. Oh, that's a good drama school, isn't it?" People don't care. They really don't care. And I know a lot of other people who didn't go to drama school and are working in the industry. It is more important to have networked and to have experience. And yes, to have an agent and to be on Spotlight, have an equity card. But in terms of going to drama school, don't expect that to open up doors for you. Networking. You need to network. If you don't network, you're invisible. That means going to see shows, meeting directors, meeting producers, going to after show parties. I laugh at that because that's the kind of stuff you need to do. You need to put yourself out there. It's a strange kind of self-indulgent, brown-nosing kind of system that you have to put yourself through. If you don't network, if people don't know who you are, don't know you're there, you're invisible. Again, using my own experience, when I was 22 and I came out of drama school, I thought the phone was going to ring, that people would be ringing me up to invite me to auditions, giving me parts. It doesn't work like that. You know, you are your own business. You have to be networking, sending out letters, going to these shows, meeting people. You've got to network or you're invisible. Auditions and silence. Going to an audition and not getting the part is bad, it's terrible, but it's something you've got to get used to. Something else which is a lot harder to get used to is going to an audition, being prepared, feeling that you're great for the part, feeling that you've nailed it, going home and then never hearing back ever again. It's the whole, don't call us, we'll call you. And that silence, that indifference is something that is very difficult to get used to and come to terms with. If you don't get the part and no one tells you why, you don't get any feedback, all you can do is start to turn the spotlight on yourself and say, oh, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I'm not good enough. You know, maybe I shouldn't be an actor. And you need to get used to that. The acting industry isn't necessarily malicious or unkind, it is just indifferent. A lot of casting directors don't have the time to get back to you, even with a simple yes or no. You know, never mind a page review of how you did. So get used to auditions and silence. Mailouts. So you need to be mailing out at least once a month to casting directors, people on TV, you've seen their shows, maybe you found the casting director of your favourite television series. You need to be sending out emails. If they don't take emails, sending out hard copies of your photograph and your CV and introducing yourself and saying, I really enjoyed this show that you did in the theatre or this television series. I'd just like to introduce myself and say I'm available for work, or maybe we can go out for a cup of tea. This is part of the networking that I mentioned earlier. You need to be doing this regularly. Are you ready to be sending out multiple emails? And I do mean multiple. Are you ready to go out and buy reams of paper, reams of envelopes, get your hard copies of your 10x8s. All these things cost money, of course. Just get used to the fact that as part of your networking, you need to be mailing out. Work. When you're working, fantastic, great. The sun is shining. It's a summer's day in the acting world. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're working and you're getting paid, hopefully. What happens next? When you're working, don't forget you need to be planning what you are doing next. Do you have an acting job lined up? Do you have some touring lined up? Do you have something that's going to keep you in a wage and keep you paying the bills? If not, do you have another job that you can go to? Is this something that's going to support you? So don't rest on your laurels when you're working. Think about what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks when it finishes. We've spoken about being in work, but being out of work. Being out of work as an actor is a horrible, horrible feeling. You feel useless. No matter what you do, you can't get a job. And again, there's no one to help you. No one to really say what the issue is. Hopefully you've got a good support network with other actors. But you know, it can be one of those horrible situations where you turn the spotlight on yourself again and saying, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not good enough. Are you prepared emotionally and psychologically to be out of work as an actor? You will meet some amazing people. You will work on jobs for 4 to 6 weeks perhaps, and you'll build a family, you'll find some best friends. Then when the show's over, you say goodbye. And that's the end of your family. And you might see these people again in, you know, a few months, maybe a few years, maybe 10 years down the line. You'll stay in contact perhaps. Maybe you'll go and see each other. Maybe you'll bump into each other in audition. Some people you may never ever see again. It's one of the hardest things about acting. You make these great friendships and then they just dissolve at the end of the project. You've got to be prepared for that. Keep some other interests. Acting is fantastic. It can be your passion. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't forget to have some other strings to your bow. When you're out of work, when things aren't working for you, what else do you have in your life? Do you have other interests? Do you have another job, another source of income? Don't forget your family, friends. Don't let the negative side of acting kill you inside. Can you just leave it away for a while? Put it in a box and remember that life does exist beyond the acting world. Don't let the negative side of acting kill you. Money, so income, expenditure. Are you good with your money? Yeah, you might have just made £10,000 on a commercial. What about for the next couple of years when you might be out of work and there's no commercials? Can you save that money? Can you spend just what you need and put a little more aside? What do you need to spend money on? Your expenditure, your photos, your mail outs, travel to auditions. Think about what you need to spend money on. Food, don't forget food. Food for that week, for the rest of the month. Paying your rent, all this expenditure. And then you have to think about tax. Anything that any income has got to be taxed at the end of the tax year. You need to give the tax man 20% or whatever it is nowadays. So just be aware that any income you have, there has to be a percentage of that that's going to go to the tax man. Are you good with your facts, your figures, your income, your expenditure? Sacrifices. This links to my previous point. There are some things you are going to have to sacrifice as an actor. If you need money for traveling to an audition, you perhaps can't go out and buy your favorite pair of Nike trainers. Some things you've got to sacrifice. You've got to suffer for your art. Your acting needs to come first in a lot of ways financially. So you're gonna have to make sacrifices. Are you prepared for that? What about your hair? What about your facial hair? What about your body, your weight, your size, your shape? If you have a headshot which looks like you, that is selling your look to casting directors and agents and directors. So if you, let's say me, if I have my headshot that looks like this, and then I decide to shave my beard and grow my hair out, maybe dye it orange, I'm no longer gonna look like my headshot. So you've got to realize that you need to look like your photo consistently. Casting directors hate it when they have a photograph of this actor and a completely different actor walks in who doesn't look like this photo, who's supposed to look like this photo. So you have to keep the way you're looking, keep your hair the same, your facial hair the same. If you lose a lot of weight or gain weight, you're gonna have to have new headshots taken. So are you prepared for that side of the industry? And finally, yes, you might be out of work for periods. Yes, money might be tight. Yes, you might go to auditions and never hear anything back. Yes, you might have to spend money on headshots, on travel. Yes, you might have to keep your appearance the same all the time. But you get to experience. You get to experience an industry that is so unique. No 2 days are the same when it comes to performing. You might get to perform on a stage one day. You might get to perform open air in a park or a wedding the next week. You might be traveling across the country. You might be going to places you've never been before. You might get to meet people you've never met before. Think about all those people who never get to experience that, who have to go into an office 5 days a week and sit at the same desk until they retire. They never get to experience being an actor. That's worth its weight in gold, is it not? That's something to treasure. That's something to relish. So yes, there are some bad, negative, I've tried not to be too negative, but there are some things you need to realize about acting which, you know, are hard to come to terms with. But there are some great rewards with acting as well. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you can take the hard times on the chin, you will be rewarded with your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I've been Chris, and I will see you next time. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Are you an actor? Have you had some hard times? What have you had to face in the industry? Let me know down below. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.